This week on Taste Utah, we're visiting a seasonal slice of heaven in northern Utah known as Bear Lake. Most of us are familiar with Garden City. Perhaps less known is the south side of Bear Lake, which is where Floyd Family Farms, Chad's Raspberry Kitchen, and Some Beaches are all located. They're not only growing the infamously delicious Bear Lake raspberry, they're putting it in jams, vinaigrettes, barbecue sauces, and then slathering it all over burgers and salads at their restaurant, Some Beaches. This is the quintessential Taste Utah story, a humble raspberry starting from Utah soil and seed and ending up in the most delectable sandos and shakes at an authentically Utah restaurant. Behind every good food story is a great people story. Taste Utah brings you the faces behind our local flavors, from soil and seeds to the variety of our authentically Utah restaurants. The views along the way, they're not bad either. Food is a necessity. It's how we create it, craft it, and experience it together that truly connects Utah's restaurant community. The secret to our sauce is simple. It's our farmers, artisans, chefs, restaurateurs, and hospitality professionals that make Utah a dining destination. You always have a seat at this table. We're in Lake Town, which is the south side of Bear Lake. I'm taking you to Chad's Raspberry Farm, Kitchen, and then also to Some Beaches, all operated by Patrick Floyd, who is a second-generation raspberry farmer. They are growing that famous, delicious, succulent Bear Lake raspberry. We're gonna learn the secrets to the sauce of their raspberry farming, as well as visit Some Beaches, and we have got to get our taste buds wrapped around a raspberry shake. Hi, Patrick.
Hey, Katy, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I may or may not have just been in the fields sneaking a little taste.
You stole my raspberries?
I am known as like a rabbit.
Okay.
And I just go in and pick, but wow, are they delicious.
Good, good. I'm glad you got some. We're actually going to harvest some today.
I'm so excited. I mean, Bear Lake, this area is just known for their raspberries. And how long has Chad's been doing this?
We've had a family farm for 23 years, and Chad's been around just about that long.
That's so cool. Well, let's head out in the field and maybe do some more tasting.
Yes, let's go have fun.
Okay, awesome. Patrick, why farming? Why did your family decide, like, hey, let's be farmers?
So, you know, our name is Chad's. I'm Patrick. I'm not Chad. My parents apparently liked him more.
Okay.
Chad was my brother.
Oh, Chad's your brother. Nice.
So apparently I wasn't the favorite child.
Little sibling rivalry? No, just kidding. No.
Chad was born in 1983, and in 1987 he had to have a liver transplant. He was one of the first few hundred in the United States to actually receive one.
Wow.
And the following year I was born. I was a little surprised. And that same month I was born, he actually developed a bacteria into his eyes that took his sight as well, just from a weakened immune system. So my parents were both school teachers, and so when he was 10, 12 years old, they're like, what can we do for this kid? What do we do? And one of historically, quick and tasty is now the Burger Barn in Garden City. But the owner of that, she said, hey, would you make raspberry popsicles for us? And so we started doing that. That's how Chad started. We started doing raspberry popsicles. We bought little molds and we'd put them in the freezer and stuff. My mom developed a recipe for it and did that. And we'd sell them to local businesses. So we'd make a couple hundred maybe a couple thousand popsicles in a summer. It became kind of big
yeah.
for what it was. And then that lady decided to sell out, and she had the jam recipes and everything. And so we bought her kitchen stove and some of her tables and went for it. We built our commercial facility, which I'll show you in a few.
Okay.
And to go with that, my dad said, well, we've got these acres of land. Let's put it in raspberries. Let's provide for the raspberries for that jam.
It makes me emotional that what a cool way to honor your older brother. And then also to answer a call from the community to help and support.
Yeah.
And then to say, how can we make it better? And I think it also highlights and sort of is a great example of what you're doing now with the family farm, the family business, but also putting your own signature touch on the business as well. So you're growing and saying, hey, we are doing these amazing raspberries. We're already doing all this other stuff. why don't we offer food as well? So you opened this little burger joint called Some Beaches to not only highlight what you all do so well here, but also to offer a really handcrafted and playful experience as well.
It's been kind of fun because I developed a lot of recipes for Chad's, like our vinaigrette, our barbecue sauce, our salsa. So we had all these different products, and I was kind of a foodie at heart. So when the opportunity came across, I was like, I can't turn this down. So this is 4.5 acres.
Okay.
At our peak, if we have all the rows planted and we're not rotating, it's 2.5 miles of rows.
Farming raspberries is its own unique endeavor unto itself, right? So you have plants that are, I mean, this plant is obviously vibrant and bustly. You can just see the raspberries just falling off of it. And then we're next to a row of plants that look like babies.
Exactly. The babies are the ones that we're rotating out. We plant those in the spring, but Bear Lake has such a short growing season. It takes us 2 to 3 or 4 years till we even see a berry come off those.
Wow, so it really is a labor of love.
It is a labor of love.
And tell us the grow season for Bear Lake.
So typically May 15th through about September 30th would be as good as you're gonna get.
Why do you think that Bear Lake raspberries are so coveted and so delicious?
That's a really great question, Katy. They're hard to grow here because of those kind of extremes, because of that short growing season. So you have to have kind of an optimistic view of it, or just land that you're willing to put into them, which we do.
I love that.
Looking at them as far as why they're so sweet, it's honestly cold nights. So
that's what I was thinking, and hot days. Like that sun is hot.
Yeah, but it was less than 50 degrees last night. So when you have these raspberries, they just get that sweet flavor. The sugar develops in them overnight, so you get that real sweet flavor coming off.
I love that, and it is like concentrated. That is such a short growth season.
It is.
So what I'm noticing with the berries is that it's not like they're these huge, big berries. They're normal size.
They're normal size, yep.
And
you'll find some monsters occasionally, but yeah, they're normal sized.
That's what you expect to see a raspberry, but some of the raspberries that you'll see in the grocery store are much bigger than
They're
this.
much bigger. It depends if they're coming out of California or Mexico or something like that.
I was gonna say they're not as flavorful.
Right, exactly. It also depends on the different varieties that you're gonna have. You're gonna have to have those different sizes. We've got, I think, 3 different varieties that we're currently growing here in Bear Lake, and you have to get a specific variety that's willing to go into dormancy for 6 to 8 months. Where raspberries historically, they don't like that. Like where they grow up in Washington State, Canada, they'll plant like this row right here. They'll plant them, and then 18 months later, they're getting a full harvest off of them.
Wow.
So.
Tell us the different varieties. I don't think that, even myself as a raspberry consumer, I wouldn't think to look for varieties.
The one that made us famous was called a Canby.
Okay.
And that has a really great potential here in Bear Lake, and it grew for years and years. Unfortunately, it's also susceptible to a virus.
Oh.
So that's why Bear Lake raspberries kind of had a going out and a coming back party at the same time. That was when we started.
Okay.
And so we saw that there's other varieties that you could bring in here, like Cowichan, which has been historically what we grow, but we've got an Eden variety. We do these rows right behind you. These are Canbys, and there's a couple rows of Canbys over here as well. We're old school and new school.
And how long do they last? How long do you till you have to turn them over?
So that's an excellent question, and I don't think there's a good rule of thumb.
Okay.
Bear Lake's been, like I said, it's been a hard last decade for raspberries. In fact, we have not really had a great harvest for several years. So we took this opportunity to actually take about half of our plants out, and we're rotating those back in. Some of these plants, they're pretty old. They're 22, 23 years old.
It's so amazing. I just have to say, even looking out over the field and the lazy low-hanging clouds, it just is so picturesque. It's heavenly up here.
It is.
That is what is so exquisite about farmers and farming, is that you're taking this huge risk to feed us and provide us with an experience.
Exactly.
A Bear Lake raspberry isn't just about the variety. It's about the short growth season. It's about the climate. It's about the time and place. And when you're tasting the produce, isn't that what you want?
Yeah, exactly. And farming is also it's a gamble every year. There's one fixed cost every year. So for instance, raspberries we grow in a 2-year cycle. So these ones, they're nice and green stalk. They started growing this spring.
Okay.
And then they will lose their leaves this fall. And these will be the ones that produce next year. They look like they're more woody.
Okay.
So they grow in a 2-year cycle. But we've had a lot of struggle in the last decade where we've had a lot of extremes, Katy. It's been 95 degrees in Bear Lake, which we never get to 95 degrees.
Yeah.
Or we'll have like a really late fall, and then it'll be -2 on Halloween, and the berries just freeze at the ground.
Yeah.
Or it'll be too hot, too cold, too anything all summer long. So raspberries will have this nice, they want to be nice and gentle throughout the whole time, which is ironic because we just went through a really great winter.
Yes.
But they were dormant the whole time. We had a nice cool spring, and they brought it into where it's hot, and we've got raspberries this year.
Tell me what the harvesting process looks like, because these plants look like they're ready to go.
So there's two main ways of harvesting raspberries. One by hand, which would be
like this. Do you just pull it off like so?
It might be a little pink. Maybe go for a little bit redder one.
And you pull it off of its little core.
Yep.
And so then it's just like a traditional raspberry that you would.
So everything you get, like the Driscoll Farms or anything like you see in the grocery store, those are hand-picked. Anything produced with a product is actually machine harvested.
Okay. I imagine the machine just kind of like picks them off.
It looks like giant hairbrushes.
Okay.
And they straddle the row and they just shakes them off. They freely rotate, but we can set how fast they vibrate.
Okay.
They fall onto little spring-loaded catch plates that gently let the berries roll onto conveyor belts. And then from there, we take them off the picker. We put them into big trays, take them off the picker, and we take them and wash them and sort them that way. So down here, what we're doing is taking those raspberries and putting them into these 2 kettles.
So you cook them in the kettles?
Cook them in the kettles.
Okay.
We're a very simple recipe, Katie. We're not adding corn syrup and all these preservatives, so we're a home-style recipe.
Love it.
We're just doing from there, granulated sugar and pectin.
I can't even tell you how good it smells down.
It does smell wonderful. And the other thing we don't do is we don't puree our fruit.
Okay.
So it comes out big and chunky, so you'll see those big chunks in the bottle.
You see like the lovely seeds and the...
See that wonderful? You can see it all chunky. It's not super smooth.
Yeah.
But it's going to come out on that bread or whatever you put our jam on. You're going to see the whole berries.
I want to try some of this stuff. I want to get over to some beaches and sort of show off how you're incorporating and integrating this really, really special family recipe into now like some bigger products, and where people can actually come when they're in Bear Lake and not only sample but also buy the product.
Exactly. That's what our storefront is for. So we've never had a storefront. We've always relied on other really great vendors.
Yeah.
And where our stores only open in the summer.
Where can people buy this kind of product if they?
So our main plug, I always push Harmon's. Harmon's carries is wonderful for local products. South Fork Hardwares do it. Many of the great harvest stores, if you look at their label, it's produced by Chad Raspberry.
Oh, that's so cool.
Private label a bunch of their jams.
How rad. Well, I feel like we should go over to the storefront and sample some of your wares.
It's time for lunch anyway.
Let's do it. Patrick, I love it because I'm looking at my hands and they are just all raspberry juice coming from the farm.
Should have let you wash them. Oh well.
No way. It's like save it for later.
All right.
But we're at some beaches and then your storefront. So talk to us a little bit about this particular business setup.
Some beaches, we wanted to do something really unique in Bear Lake. Obviously, you can get burgers, fries, and shake it anywhere. We wanted to be just a little bit different. So we want to give enough variety of options that people didn't feel like they had to go into Garden City.
Yeah, because this is the south side of Bear Lake.
Correct.
Which is really beautiful and picturesque.
Yes, it is. It's very rural. We don't get we have a crazy highway, but we don't have all the crazy businesses and lines and stuff like that. So it's quiet down here.
It's quiet and delicious.
Yes, it's quiet and delicious. Quite delicious. I love that.
But tell us some beaches. What is the significance of the name? So
it was honestly a joke. Okay. My wife and I were just kind of, what do we call this, as we joke back and forth, and we kind of laughed, and then we did menu things. We're like, okay, let's name it after places around Bear Lake.
Cool.
So different points of reference, different launch sites, different cities, creeks, areas. So like our number one sellers are our cheeseburger. We call it the Rock. There's a big lava rock down on the east side that you can jump off and the water's high into the water.
So every menu item is named around a significant sort of landmark or maybe community celebrated.
Exactly. So like the salad in front of you, that's the east side, so it'd be this side of the lake, the east side apple salad.
East side apple salad. So tell me what's in it.
So this is, we cut our own vegetables, so that's our own romaine, spinach, apples, feta, walnut, and onion. And then of
love
course, we got to finish it off. We put our raspberry vinaigrette on it.
I love it. So the raspberries that we were just in the field suddenly go into vinaigrette, and then boom, they're right in front of me.
Exactly.
The greens look so good.
Yeah, that's
like really fresh.
You know, we want to make sure that we're using the best quality. I'll apologize for price, but I won't apologize for quality.
I love that, because the thing is that if you are producing the highest quality ingredients, it's gonna cost a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, where we started in April of 2020, it was kind of it was difficult because everyone's asked me since then, have things returned to normal? I'm like, I don't know. You know, we started in April of 2020. We had indoor seating at that time. And because we took that out, we put our Chad's retail store in there because we could open a store, but we couldn't have indoor seating at that time.
Oh, okay, that's right, because it was during the pandemic.
During pandemic stuff.
What do you have in front of you?
So I added this year, and I kind of get a wild hair once in a while, so I always wanted to do a peanut butter jelly burger.
Peanut butter and jelly is on that sandwich.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Except we have used our raspberry jalapeno jam on it. Kind of gives it a little bit. Yep, a little bit. Gives it kind of a little kick to it.
Oh, I love that.
Makes it awesome. So that's got peanut butter, our jalapeno jam, and then it's a bacon burger with lettuce and tomato on it.
Oh, that looks amazing.
And obviously on a artisan bun.
It's beautiful. Yeah, and that bun looks so money.
It is. And that's, you know, we use ground chuck, we smash our own patties in-house, then obviously do a smash patty on the grill. Are you okay if I take a bite?
Please do. You have to take a bite. And it's peanut butter and jelly, so it's basically like the perfect, like, you know, right around noon sandwich.
It makes me happy every time.
I love
Because it shouldn't work, but it does.
It does. And the sauce, like the peanut butter and jelly, it's so incredible. And then this guy in front of me.
Oh, this one, so I decided to come up with my own way of doing pulled pork. We actually don't do a dry rub.
Wow.
I know. So what I do is I actually do a marinated pork shoulder.
Okay.
And then I do a mustard and brown sugar coating on it.
Ooh.
And then I smoke it for about 3 hours and then cover it, roast it for the rest of the day. So it takes about 9 hours.
What else comes on it? Looks like coleslaw?
So this is called the second point pulled pork. We have first point, second point. Second point has our raspberry barbecue sauce on it, so you get that.
Okay,
you know,
this guy.
Yep, and we got leave the seeds in there for you. We do puree it, so it makes it smooth and pourable.
Okay.
But do that, and then we add our in-house made coleslaw too.
Ooh, and then that almost looks like a potato bun, but
it's actually a ciabatta.
Oh, ciabatta! I love that.
And this is stone ground ciabatta. These are Salt City baking buns. So we're trying to buy them out of Utah as well.
Yeah, I mean these are some of the biggest names in bread in Salt Lake City.
Exactly.
So you're bringing them up here, which is really, really special.
Yes.
It could be more challenging. It could be cost prohibitive to bring these things up, but you want to offer someone a particular kind of experience because you love food.
You know, obviously, you know, it costs me more, and that adds up over time, but I think it's worth it.
Well, and the experience, I think, is what is so special, right? Like, it's really rare to be able to sit out here on the patio, just like right off of the highway on the south side of Bear Lake, and just get fed high quality ingredients that have been made with love and care, and really celebrate traditional Utah artisans.
I couldn't say it better myself.
And the reality is, like, Patrick, you're growing the raspberries. So there's all of this effort and all of this care that's already put into this particular product. So in order to match that love and care, you want to find someone that's doing the exact same thing. And then you create this really cool synergy sandwiched between two amazing buns.
You're very, very good with words on that. That was awesome. You know, I counted the one time, by the time the jam actually gets to the consumer, I pick up that raspberry 12 times.
It's rare in life that you see someone who truly, truly loves what they do, works really hard at it, and offers something in such a humble way. From your family starting the farm, you know, several decades ago, naming it after your brother, you side by side with your parents planting all these raspberry patches, to then having the opportunity to start Sun Beaches, it not looking exactly as you had hoped that it would look, but saying, no, this is what I want to do for my community, for my family. I mean, second generation, but you're crushing it, my friend.
I'm not sure about crushing it, but you know, it's fulfilling.
The only thing I'm bummed about is
Bear Lake, I know it's cliche, Bear Lake raspberry shake. When I sat down at the table, I was hoping, but there's nothing here.
I guess we'll have to go make you one.
We can make it in the kitchen?
Yeah,
okay.
let's go for it.
Let's do it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Patrick, the famous Bear Lake raspberry shake.
Yep.
Okay.
And this week, because we have a harvest this year,
yes,
we're using our berries.
These are your fresh berries from your farm.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, absolutely. I love it.
So we're gonna make you one here. We're gonna get a little bit of ice cream.
Start with vanilla.
Yep.
A little vanilla saucer. Beautiful.
Okay. Then you want to scoop us out some?
I would love to. Okay, let me just like that much.
Yep. Give me 2 of those.
Okay, 2 big scoops. Okay.
And we're just gonna come back here, add a little bit more.
Okay, a little more saucer.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
And we're just gonna whiz her up back here for a second.
Mix her up.
Just like that.
Oh, that's the money shot right there. Okay.
So this is one of our monster shakes.
Okay.
So we actually put a little bit of our raspberry, the OG, the raspberry jam on top.
Oh, so this is the actual raspberry jam.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that we saw get made earlier.
Oh, whipped cream.
Like that.
Oh my gosh.
Then of course,
you gotta have a spoon. I'm so excited. I gotta get a bite of this in my mouth right now. Patrick, everything that you're doing here, from the Floyd family farm to Chad's Raspberry Kitchen to some beaches, is absolutely extraordinary. It's worth the drive up to Bear Lake alone just for this shake, let alone
of course it is.
You and your family and everything that this community stands for. Just thank you so much.
No, thank you for coming up and seeing us. I know it's a long drive, but
I love it. Worth every single mile. I'm gonna go hide somewhere and maunder this.
Go for it. Go for it. Just in the back there.